Hey guys, so welcome to another week of WoW Weekly with Myst. And for this week, we have a few things to talk about. Actually, it's a pretty big list. I'll be honest. A lot of it has to do with Classic because it's right around the corner. It's really the last week or the last WoW Weekly video where you'll have time to watch the video and hear what I say about Classic before it comes up, because the next WoW Weekly, because Classic is going to release on the Monday and my WoW Weeklies go on the Monday, that next one is going to the video will release like only maybe a couple of hours before, because the video is released 2 p.m. my time and you'll be able to step into Classic on the 26th before my time. It's 3 p.m. Pacific that you'll be able to get in there. So that's why I decided we're going to throw a lot of stuff I plan on doing, some goals I have, some stuff regarding WoW Weekly. Okay, so we will start how we always start these videos, and that is with the goals that I made for the last week. So the goals were pretty basic. Mainly my full goal up until Classic release is to get the retail alts as close to 120. I'm not going to bother doing much past that with them. We just want them at 120 and get as many caught up as possible, so that's less work I need to do before the new retail expansion comes out. And which, don't worry, hasn't been announced yet. It'll be announced at BlizzCon, but still, I like to prepare for all that. And we are close to a new expansion. They come out every 2 years, and we've been in BFA for a year now, so it will be coming out soon. And yeah, so I did pretty good. Last week, I think I had mentioned that I got the Paladin from 114 to 120. This week, I got the Rogue to 120. It didn't start as low as 114, though. My Rogue was already 117. So I did 117 to 120. And then on Saturday, I started leveling the Hunter. And the Hunter already had a bit into the level, but not much. I started with the Hunter being 113. And the Hunter is now 116. So that is what we accomplished. So I guess that would be a total of, three levels on the Hunter and 4 on the Rogue. So 7 levels we got. So basically just as much as we got last week. And it was really cool, because the one thing I found out that I had no idea, probably because I usually do it on my main, but I found out that if you level during an invasion, when you're not a 120, instead of getting the gear, you get the player experience. And I always just thought that was like a little bonus experience they handed you on hand in, but it's actually a leveling buff for an hour. So it's like the Dark Moon buff, pretty much identical. It's 1 hour, 10%. Yeah. So that was really cool. I got to take advantage of that on the Rogue. I can't remember if I took advantage. Yes, I did. I was able to do that on the Hunter too, because for both the Rogue and the Hunter, there was an invasion during that time. So that was our goals completed. And our new goals, they're not really new. They're going to be exactly the same goals. Like I said, that's the only thing I really care about right now, is getting as many alts to 120. So I'm not going to say our goal is to finish the hunter, because it's pretty obvious the hunter's going to get finished. Like, there's no point in even making that a goal, you know. But the goal is to level as many alts. Again, I don't know what's going to be next after the hunter. So yeah, we will finish the hunter and then move on to a next one. It's probably going to be the priest next, but I won't know until the hunter's 120 and I look through the list and see what we're doing next. So yeah, and this is the last week I have to do this. So I don't think the next one is going to get to 120, because I do have other things I got to do for the week before Classic. Plus, I still have the stuff that I do on my main weekly. So we'll see where it goes. But definitely I think the hunter can at least get accomplished. And maybe we can just get a dent into the next one. And to be honest, there's not that many left. I've got quite a few characters at 120 right now. So yeah, that is the goal for this week. Now for weekly events. The weekly events for this week is going to be Mythics. And there will also be the PvP Brawl, which will be Arathi Blizzard. And that's basically it. That is all that is going on for this week. Okay, so the only piece of retail news I have for you guys this week is something that is having to do with the 15th anniversary, which we talked about last week, but this is a different thing having to do with it. And it is the Stormpike Battle Ram, which is it was an original Alliance mount and redone for the 15th anniversary. And then there's also the Frostwolf Snarler, which was an original Horde mount, redone for the 15th anniversary. It's not really their same colors, but they still look good. I like them. And they will be rewarded from, there's an achievement, Ultrich Valley of Old. And it's to earn 100 time warped badges from doing quests and participating in Ultrich Valley Classic for the Stormpike Battle Ram. And the same for the Frostwolf Snarler. So yeah, they haven't mentioned quite yet how many badges you get from winning or losing the event, but 100 really doesn't seem too bad. You know, as long as it's more than one, I think we're good. All you need is to win or lose the events, because you get badges for both. I imagine, my guess is maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm thinking too low. I was gonna say 5 for winning, 3 for losing, but it really depends how long these events are, right? And honestly, I think this is a great event for the time we're sitting in right now, too, because Ultrich Valley was probably one of most people's favorites in Classic. It was later on in level that you could queue up for it. 51, I believe, was the level, 51 to 60 for the queues for Ultrich Valley. But it, I remember having a blast in that place back in the day. However, and hopefully the event isn't like this, but back then, some of those Ultrich Valleys would go on for hours. So you really had no idea how long you were going to spend in there. Which is why I'm thinking maybe I'm underestimating. Maybe it'll be way more than 5 for winning. Who knows? Okay, so on to our next part, which is going to be the main part of this video, and that is Classic. I'm going to be talking about a lot of stuff, so what we'll do is we'll get the news part out of the way, and then we will move on to my personal stuff for Classic. Okay, so news-wise, for starters, there's been more servers added, so definitely check that out. They're all PvP servers, which we knew. PvE is usually pretty okay, but PvP, I had already known when I saw that server list that they did not put enough PvP servers on there, especially when you have servers being crowded by streamers, because, like, for example, Asmin and Soda are the prime examples. However, Asmin being the bigger one, he has puppy dogs all around him, meaning that he has people that will follow him no matter what he does. I've literally seen him have like 40,000 viewers in his stream while he's doing nothing. He hasn't moved in his game for hours. He's got a Google page up that he's not even talking about. So that guy will definitely crowd a server. Okay, so for those maybe wondering, should I join a streamer server or should I not? I'm not going to tell you whether you should or should not, but I'll give you a pro and con list and my opinion. My opinion is I would never join a streamer server. The reason being is that I want to relive vanilla the way I remember it, and the way I remember it is no streamers. One of the biggest reasons I don't want to be on a streamer server is because with a streamer server, you're basically on a Twitch page. That's basically how it's going to feel. As well as pretty much all the streamers being over there, what you will also have is Twitch talk. It's always going to be, did you watch this stream? Did you see this clip? It's going to be like being in a Twitch channel. And vanilla just wasn't that, right? That was not a part of vanilla. And even as a streamer myself, I don't want that to be part of my Classic experience. Yes, I'm a streamer, but I'm a small time streamer. So it's really like, when I play the game with my friends, it's like we're playing a game with our friends. I don't got, thousands of people following me. I got maybe, 20 or something that are coming over with me. So it's really not the same thing. And that's just how I want to experience Classic. And I get everyone wants to experience it differently. If I wasn't the way that I am, I probably would be on a streamer server because Soda is my favorite streamer, right? But I don't care, he can be my favorite streamer while I'm watching him on Twitch. I just don't want to be on a jam-packed server like that. I don't believe on being on a dead server either, but you don't need a super busy server as well. Like, right in the middle is kind of perfect for me. Honestly, and this is probably the weirdest thing you're going to hear through this whole video, but I'm glad I'm a small-time YouTuber and a small-time streamer. One thing I would have never wanted for the release of Classic for me is to have a big following. And I know that sounds really weird. Every streamer wants a big following, but my love for vanilla and WoW itself is so high that the last thing I would want is thousands of people stopping my progression. And that's exactly what's going to happen to streamers. Okay, and the last con for the streamer server topic would be if they decide to leave, of course. This is where you see a really busy server become a dead server. Basically, what will happen, and I believe Ferlina is going to be that, because I'm pretty sure I'm not alone in the thought that Asmon won't. Asmon is mainly PvE. I do believe he will eventually leave, and then there's going to be other streamers that will probably leave that server. I don't think he'll leave Classic. He will still be over on retail, but I do think that he will mainly be on a PvE server rather than a PvP server, and Ferlina is PvP. So when he does that, that is gonna really change the ratio of Alliance versus Horde over there. I fully believe that there's gonna definitely be more Horde players than Alliance by a long shot when that occurs. So that's another thing to keep in mind, is that your busy server that you may be on right now may become a dead server. Okay, so that's the pros and cons list of a streamer server. Take it as you will. Like I said, I'm not saying don't join it, and I'm not saying join it. Me personally, I wouldn't join it. But the reason I'm not against it is because I'm a streamer myself, and if I was in their position, I would want people coming over with me. However, I sure the fuck hope that that's not their main characters, because I'll tell you right now, if that was me, like let's say I had the viewer base that Asmon did, that would be an alt character. I would not tell anyone where my main character was. Right now, I do, because I'm a small streamer and no one really cares about me enough to hunt me down. But if I was a bigger streamer like Asmon or Soda, there's no way that would be my main character. My main character would be somewhere that no one knows about other than maybe close friends. And yeah, so I hope that's not their main character, but I feel like it is, because Classic does take a while to level in, so they would have to dedicate even more time to level main character. So my final opinion or suggestion would be, if you want to play on a streamer server, go ahead. Make a character, have fun. There may be some events that might interest you over there or whatnot, but I wouldn't make it your main character. Make it a putz around, log on when the streamer is live type character. But if you're serious about Classic, I would make a main character somewhere else. Somewhere where, maybe you don't have those long queue times, or, you don't have to worry about, 20 billion people killing you, or, yeah. Okay, so a little extra info to that topic, but moving on to the next one. Next one is keyrings. They are coming back. They will not be available right at launch of Classic, but they will be available at the patch that is after the launch. And if you're wondering what those are, because I know some of you guys are new, didn't play vanilla or, early expansions, because those keyrings didn't go away in vanilla. I think it was, I can't remember when it was, maybe Lich King? I can't totally remember when they removed it. But basically from level 1 to 39, you'll have 4 slots that you can have keys in. And then level 40 to 49, you'll have 8 slots for your keys. And level 50 to 60, you'll have 12 slots for your keys. Now, why do you need keys? One, they're good for collections, which is why I grabbed a lot of them. And two, some are actually a requirement to get into certain places, to get into dungeons or raids. So in the meantime, until that is added in the first patch, you will have to hold on to the keys, but that is one of the perks of the key ring, is that you no longer have to hold on to those keys in your bags. Okay, so that is basically it. I am going to do a little refresher for some of you guys, though, for Classic to help you prepare for it. So basically, for starters, if you don't have it installed yet, go and install it now and have it ready to go for Monday. And if you're wondering, can I keep my characters from the beta? The answer is no. You cannot. Same with the stress tests. Those are all wiped. You'll be starting scratch. No characters, no money, no bags. Welcome to the Happy Show. For the amount of characters that you can create, you will be able to have 10 characters on a server and 50 total characters on the account. And for realms, if you want to join us, we're on the Misrael realm, and there's many others that you can choose from. So you'll see in the list. And for the launch, in case you're wondering what's going to be available on launch, we will have Molten Core, Onyxia. So those will be our 2 raids, Molten Core and Onyxia. The Maraudin Dungeon will be there, and Open World PvP will be there, but the reward system won't be available yet. So it'll just be there for fun, If you're wondering when the reward system will be there, they will have it in phase 2. So when we get into the next phase, we will have the reward system, and I will keep you guys up to date, when those phases approach. Now for the battlegrounds, the cross-realm battlegrounds, they were a thing pretty early on, and they won't be that way at launch, but it will be soon. They're gonna make the battlegrounds cross-realm when phase 3 comes into the picture. So once again, when that time comes, I will let you know. But yeah, that's when the cross-realm battlegrounds will be a thing. And since we were just talking about it, the Ultractive Valley that we just saw the redo of the mounts for, that will also be available in phase 3. So yeah. Now the next part is something I actually searched for, because being a streamer and a YouTuber, I wanted to know if this was going to be available to myself. And I'm sure, some non-streamers and non-YouTubers like to have them too, but I feel like mainly it's people that post them somewhere. But the armory, I wanted to know if the armory was going to be a thing. You guys have, seen in the past where I have, my characters listed on the page, so you can check on my gear and all that. And I really want something like that for Classic. So the answer is no, it is not available. But they do say they are working on making it available. So it won't be available at launch, but it will be down the road sometime. The reason for that is because, and I guess I didn't really think about this because back in vanilla, we were all new. It was like a new game, right? So I don't think many of us really thought of the armory. I don't think I'd ever played a game that really had an armory. And I didn't Google much. I didn't really watch a whole lot of YouTube back then. If any, I don't even think I watched any YouTube actually back then. I didn't really Google much, and yeah. So when it came to, things outside of the game, I didn't really think about it. But, long story short, because I'm starting to ramble here, Armory didn't actually become available till Burning Crusade. So that would probably be when we would get it, most likely. And I think it's pretty safe to say that we are going to get Burning Crusade. There is a lot of people that want it. And I don't blame them. Burning Crusade was my favorite expansion. I'm just in that mindset where I feel like classic WoW is only vanilla WoW. Once you add an expansion in, it's BC. Right? Like, yeah, that's the way I see it. But I know everyone kind of sees it differently, sees it their own way. Okay, so another question that a lot of people have asked is the mounts I've collected and the pets I've collected and the titles I've collected and the toys and the transmogs over in retail, will they be available in Classic? And the answer is no. For a few reasons. For starters, a lot of your mounts are flying mounts, probably. We won't have flying. And granted, they could be, stuck to the ground, but whatever. They didn't exist in vanilla. Which is basically what Classic is, trying to be. Same with pets. Pets, you couldn't collect them yet. Pets weren't a collection back then. They were just on the ground. Pet battles came into the picture like quite a bit later. And the titles, I don't really got an explanation for that one, but actually, yeah, I do. A lot of those titles came from achievements, and achievements won't exist till I think BC's when achievements came in the picture. And transmogs, there is no transmog system. So, yeah, not for vanilla, there wasn't. However, there is one thing that does carry over into your Classic. It is something that very few people would probably have. Even me, myself, being a hardcore WoW fan and playing since day one, it was just one thing I could never get my hands on, and I tried on eBay, and it was just too pricey to even spend on my favorite game. So, and that is the original Vanilla Collector's Edition. If you have that, then the items from that will be available in your Classic. So, congrats if you have the original Vanilla Collector's Edition. The trading card game, those codes cannot be used in Classic. And for the most part, the easiest way to remember this is remember that Classic and retail are two different games. If you got something in retail, it stays in retail. If you got something in Classic, it stays in Classic. Like, they are two completely different games. So treat it like you are playing two different games. They should not even be compared. Like, I laughed when people were asking, can they ride a certain mount in Classic that they have in retail? Because the whole reason we have Classic is because of people bitching so much about retail, and now they want retail things in Classic. So, the way I see it is, if you want your Classic, keep it Classic. Do not bring the retail over to it. Treat it as a new wipe on life, pretty much, because that's pretty much what it is. You've spent all these years doing your stuff in retail. Now you're starting over. I don't like the whole starting over too much, so that's why I'm staying in retail. Classic, I'm really excited for Classic, but it's gonna be my putz around game. Retail is where I have over 20,000 achievement points, lots of mounts, lots of pets. Like, I'm maxed on pets, and a lot of collection stuff, a lot of titles. So obviously, why would I give that up? I feel like most of the people that are hardcore into Classic are people that didn't really do much with retail. Nothing really worth noting anyway. So to be honest, the reason the retail account will always get the more attention, whether it is during a good or bad expansion, is because the retail account is my vanilla account. It is the account that I started back in 2004, and it's my 15 years of WoW. So while a lot of people might have their nostalgic in Classic, my nostalgic comes back. My nostalgic is in my head, basically. It's the times when I think of when I made that account and when I was playing vanilla and all that. Classic will show a bit of the nostalgic, but Classic is still Classic. I think what people tend to forget when thinking about Classic is that there are changes. Even although they said no changes, there are changes, and Classic is not vanilla, and Classic will never be vanilla. So, with that said, my retail account will always be more important in my mind than the Classic account ever will be, because the Classic account is round 2 for me. But it may be different for some of you guys, because, some of you guys, the Classic account is going to serve the same purpose as my vanilla account has. It's going to be your first time in there. However, I would hope that, 15 years from now, they're not redoing Classic. Speaking of, what do you think it would be called? Let's get some answers in the comment section. In 15 years, if they do another redo, which they probably won't, but if they did, what would they call it? They can't call it vanilla. They can't call it Classic. So what would they call it? Okay, so for leveling characters, we're now kind of on my personal stuff. So leveling characters is going to take a while. Yes, there are people that are speedrunning right now, doing their level 1 to 60 in a week. But those people are not exploring. They're not doing professions. So if that's the kind of person that you want to be, that's fine. But in my opinion, especially if you've never played vanilla before, do not follow a speed leveling guide. You're not going to see anything. You're going to get no story. Yeah. And even me, as someone who has played for the past 15 years, I don't want to be stuck looking at a fucking Google page consistently while I'm leveling. Like, fuck that. So, I basically know a good path to leveling just because I've played for so long, and I'm not concerned on being 60 within a week. So that's what I'm gonna do, and pretty much everyone that's leveling with me feels the same way. No one really wants to power level, and a lot of us, a lot of us, we were younger when vanilla came out, but, we're older now, have jobs or families or, there are commitments there. So it's not like we can dedicate, 15 hours or whatever. Because these people that have done these guides, like let's take the Joanna guide, for example, since that's one that pretty much everyone will know about. That guide, well, he did that in 4 days and 20 hours. And he said he slept 5 hours a day. So, yeah. And that's with no exploring and like just straight quests. And he was using the add-on that auto hands in, right? So it really depends on the route you want to take. But for me, I don't trust those kind of add-ons. Things that auto hand in stuff. I've always steered away from those just in case something is with that quest that requires an order. Like I wouldn't want to just like auto hand in something and then I don't even know what's going on type deal, right? So like I said, it's totally up to you, but my personal opinion is to experience the game. Yes, it'll take a while, but that is what Classic is. It's completely different than retail. Retail, you gotta be max level to basically start playing the game. And that's where the game begins, is max level. But over in vanilla, leveling was the game. Your game actually started at level 1. So that is the difference. The leveling is the most important part. So I really don't understand the whole speed leveling thing. And then, those are going to be a very few amounts of people at max level waiting for everyone else to catch up. Because pretty much every time I read like a forum post or I talk to someone, people are anticipating months for their level 60. So no one... Well, I won't say no one, but very few people are in a rush. And that's how it should be. You should want to experience the game. So, my personal goal is a month. I would like to be 60 in a month. I probably could do it faster than that, but I don't want to. Like I said, I still want to play my main druid over in retail. So I'm not going to be 1 month solid in Classic, right? We're going to go solid for the first week, and then I'm going to start dividing the streams after that, where I'm doing, it'll mainly be Classic, but if there's something special, like for instance, week 2, time walking will be in retail. I'm not putting time walking to the side. I've been working on those badges for a long time, so yeah. And with the newish mounts, newish being, a couple of months new or whatever, the Draenor ones, I want to be able to buy those. And yeah, I do have enough right now, but you know what I mean. Like, I'm not gonna, give up on that. Thankfully, Pet Battles is the weekly for the first week start, and yeah, I like my Pet Battles, but I'll easily toss that to the side for Classic. So shit like that, if it's like a weekend of, like, I don't do arenas because I have no one to really do arenas with. So if it was an arena week, then we'd dedicate to Classic. If it's, say time walking, then there's probably going to be a day or two over on retail. So, okay, so here is my plan. And so here is my leveling plan. For week 1, and you'll hear this be the goal in next WoW Weekly. But for week 1, I would like to hit level 40 by the end of that week. And then for week 2, I'm going to up it 5 levels for the rest of the week. So week 2 will be 45, week 3, 50, week 4, 55, and week 5, 60. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're probably like, well, even with you staying in retail, or not staying in retail, but even with you doing other things, you should be able to get 60 quicker than that. And the answer is no. No. It's a different leveling system over in Classic. Basically, a good way to test it is in Vanilla, the average player, when they hit level 60, if you do /played, they were at 12 days. That's the average player. There'd be some that would be sooner. But those are, speed levelers and shit. But the average is 12 days. So if you're ever kind of wondering, like say you're at level 50 and you're wondering how long is it going to take to get the next 10 levels, that would be a good guide to go on. Because, like I said, the average is 12 days played. And that is like the command. I'm not saying like 12 days of your gaming, like 12 days played in WoW. Okay, so roughly what that means is for me to accomplish my goal of those weeks that I just mentioned, I'm looking at needing to play 8 hours a day. Now, keep in mind, some of those days will not be on Classic. And who knows, maybe I'll want, a day or 2 here with no game. You never know. It's unlikely, but you never know. However, the chances of me going over to retail for like a day or so, or, whenever, that's likely. Because I like my mythic score, I like my progression, I like the time walking stuff, and so it is likely. It just won't be all week, so that's why we divide it. And I still want to do my mount runs over there and all that. So we're looking at 8 hours a day, and I think we could pull that off too, because there's many days where I play more than 8 hours. So that would kind of even the field out for the days that I go over to retail. So if you want to kind of be on the same type of leveling schedule as I am, that is that. And that will take 5 weeks to get you to level 60, which really isn't that bad. Okay, so that is all I have for you guys. And which is good because this video is about to end here. And this was my Horde character. I'm sure you can tell now because, you can see her a little better now. But she looked small in those dungeons, though. She looked like a little shrimp. But this was the character that I leveled the last week. The paladin that I said earlier. We got 114 to 120. That is this chickie here. I brought her into like Nashtar later and got her some gear and stuff. So she's actually, raid geared now. Because she's past that item level that you see. And I thought it would be a nice change because it's always the druid you see and alliance. So I thought it'd be a nice change have a horde character. And this paladin, although it'll be on alliance side because in classic you have to be alliance to be a paladin, but that is going to be the character that I will be leveling, and that spec as well. We will be healing. So that's I guess without even planning it, that was a great way to introduce that character. Just, it'll be alliance instead. Okay, so I got one more thing for you guys, and then we're out of here. I realize it's a bit of a longer video this week, but there was quite a bit of classic info. So the last piece of classic info I have for you guys is our WoW Weekly. what I am going to be starting to do, and I will actually start it with this video, is now that Classic is practically here, and I will be having retail and Classic news in the video. Instead of making two separate videos, I decided to put it all in one, because there might be weeks where I don't really have anything for retail, or I don't have anything for Classic, and then there's no, there's a 1 minute WoW Weekly video, so we'll just put it in both. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to timestamp it. So in the description, it'll be retail WoW news, timestamp, Classic WoW news, timestamp. That way, if you play both, you're free to watch the whole video. But if you don't care about retail, then you can just go to the timestamp on the Classic and watch from there till the end. And then if you don't care about Classic, you can do the same with retail and just watch the retail. I'll always start with retail. So basically with retail, once you hear me start getting into the Classic topics, then you can stop if you're not interested in that. But yeah, that is what we're going to do with the WoW Weekly. And once again, I will remind you guys that we do have the community forum. It's been going really good. It's getting some attention over there. We've got quite a bit more members than the last time I promoted it or talked about it in the videos. And as far as leveling, we have a lot of levelers. We have 10 people right now leveling. I'm starting to put together a third team for our leveling. So if you want to level with us, just let me know. You can either say something in the comment section of this video, or you can hit me up on Twitch, or join the forum. That would be the best way to get a hold of us. And then just let us know in the forum that you want to join us. I am going to be doing a post over there really soon to get the group sorted so that we know what's going on launch, and we're not all kind of wondering which group everyone's in. So I'm going to get it all dealt with so that we just can group up with the groups that we're supposed to be in, right? And that forum will be in the description of the video. It's sinsofinsanity.com. And that concludes today's video. I do apologize for basically being almost an hour. Didn't even edit the video. I think I took 1 minute out of this video. So yeah, but I hope you enjoyed. Hope you're ready for Classic, and we will see you in the next video, guys. Bye.